Welcome, everyone, and thanks for joining us to talk about AI readiness, which I think is one of the biggest, if not the biggest, elephant in the AI room. Companies are really struggling with AI implementation, and I think it's no surprise. We have a lot of anecdotal evidence, but also a lot of data coming in that AI initiatives are failing to deliver return on investment, that AI is an amplifier of good and also bad, waste, chaos, mess. Um, and I think it's really important to talk about where the rubber meets the road, where businesses actually need to invest beyond tokens to actually get results with AI. And I think it's really critical because it feels like requirements are changing every single week. But I think we can challenge that notion. I think that, and I have a hypothesis that I'm here to test, that the foundations are what matter the most. So, with me to talk about that, I have Josh Burnley, the CEO of Integratz, who's been helping large and mid market businesses deliver complex projects across industries. And I'm talking to Josh today because he is one of those people that I talk to when I want to understand how we make progress, how we move forward, how we get results. Josh is a wizard at getting results. So I think that this is a great opportunity to talk about probably all of our top priority focus areas when it comes to getting results. It's about time we started to get some results with AI. So um, before I introduce Josh, I just want to introduce myself. My name is Steve Pereira. I am the CEO of Visible Flow Consulting, and I help organizations map their path to higher operational performance. But let's throw the mic to Josh. Josh, welcome to the webinar. Um, I want to jump right into a question. We don't have a lot of time, but let's get right into it. What is everybody getting wrong with AI implementation so far?
Hey Steve, great to be here. That's an interesting question. What are they getting wrong? I think AI has come onto the scene, and it's looked at as kind of the silver bullet, the magic results. You type some prompts in and you get some good, sometimes some bad. Now it's obviously progressing forward into the agents and stringing them together to get more results. But I think where things are kind of coming off the rails or getting it wrong is from the kind of what you were saying earlier with the foundational pieces, getting back to the foundation and seeing are we building the foundation correctly or not. Some of those foundation things are ways of working, there are processes, really building on good data. If you don't have your house cleaned up, you're going to have lots of issues. And I think that's where companies are quick to get into the hype. It feels like, oh my gosh, I should be already doing AI. It should be, automating half my company. And we're focused on different areas of the company, fast-moving parts. But it always gets back to process and ways of working to get that value back out to my customers. And we see that over and over again, that companies are quickly adopting a technology, which AI is really more of a technology, a tool in your tool chest. But they're forgetting that what they've ignored for years, good data, good processes, to really make a difference. So AI becomes that amplifier of good. Or if you have fractures in your data and in your processes, it starts amplifying those things as well and making those sometimes harder to clean up.
Yeah, I think, you mentioned fast moving parts of the business. I think that that is such a temptation because, I mean, there's already kind of rapid iteration happening in those areas. It seems like those areas are kind of maybe easier to influence or that they'll reach customers and generate results faster. So like I can understand that tendency, But what we're talking about with foundations, right, is like maybe tackling the slower moving parts of the business? And how do you think about that balance between investing in fast moving versus slow moving? Like where's the opportunity? Where, when we're talking about foundations, like is that across the entire landscape, or one of these areas in particular? How do you think about that, the speed of the organization and where we're applying AI?
Yeah, I think in some of the faster moving parts, sometimes it feels like I can get some quick wins in those areas and see that difference. The longer term gains and kind of what you're saying on the slower areas of the business, maybe in ways of working in those longer processes. We're working with a company that it took 4 months to get their contracts across the line to get approved to actually get a project off the ground and to do that project. Meanwhile, the rest of the company is sitting there waiting to get this project. There's excitement every single day, and they can't sign to start the project, get those kind of basics done. And so there's definitely a lot of room we see in focusing in those areas to actually propel things forward down the line.
Right. Like if I mean, you could be writing 10,000 lines of code, but if you can't even start the effort, then where are you going to be writing those lines of code? And I mean, is that ever going to make it out to customers, right?
Right.
So you mentioned an example, like, do you have any specific examples of the challenges and gaps in readiness and how you would approach that or address those gaps?
Yeah, I think it gets back to the beginning of things where, companies definitely don't like to look at their processes. Over my career, I'd rather, companies would rather buy a technology, implement that technology, and hope the best for that gain. And they could have gotten 80% more gain just by looking at the process, fine-tuning that, getting their data correct, really streamlining those processes to help themselves forward. So we see those areas as a slow down to go faster type of things, where you can actually really get some good gains in those areas.
And so, I mean, one of the things that I think people always think about when you say slow down to go faster is like, I cannot slow down. Like I have everybody biting my ankles, um, banging their desks every day that we need to go faster. So how do we justify this? Like how do we get a balance between enough momentum or clarity that we're either have some quick wins? Like how do we make readiness something that a company gets excited about and sees some progress beyond saying, wait, put the brakes on, you're not ready, and everyone's watching all this progress kind of like seemingly fly by in their peripheral vision?
Yeah, a lot of times people think when I have to slow down or I have to work on the foundational pieces, it's a full-on overhaul, and it doesn't have to really be that way, right? You can actually pinpoint certain areas or certain parts of a process that you can gain momentum in the company. You look for different areas that kind of brings in the people, that there's definitely cross departments you're getting into where you're getting more momentum and more momentum, where you're impacting different areas of your company that you can then apply that going forward. And so then you get this kind of spider effect across your company where you're getting people buying in, you're getting actual impact or actual valuable outcomes from these small wins, if you will, and you start building on top of that. So not everything has to be a complete overhaul. It doesn't have to be, hey, put my hand up, stop everything, let's get this, perfectly right. I don't think, perfection is not what anybody really needs to be attaining at this point in time. But you do need to look at those basics and get some of that stuff in place. And over time, it starts paying dividends. And then you keep iterating on top of those until you actually have a pretty fine-tuned system.
I mean, that really makes me think about how in the early stages, people were so focused on prompts, right? And this kind of like short-term wins in a way, because as good as you could get with prompts, you're really kind of stuck in this iterative one foot in front of the other operating model. Whereas now where we are with agents and, establishing that stronger foundation for leveraging AI, we're far beyond one prompt at a time. You're now kind of just directing a workforce of capability to go run at top speed 24/7, start cranking away at deliverables in the best case scenarios. But it's way beyond, one step at a time. And I think that, from my perspective, that's the benefit of stepping back, looking at the foundations, looking at what does it take to really leverage this technology. So is that like, where are we in that state with, the customers, the cases, the landscape that you're looking at right now, um, which is not necessarily the frontier, but what does it look like in the customers that are kind of struggling with brownfield work infrastructure, maybe legacy ways of working, and processes that feel like they're holding the company back rather than accelerating and delivering results?
Yeah, I think there's a bit to that. I think the companies, that we're working with, they're starting to acknowledge process problems, the foundational areas. They're starting to see, with their pilots on AI and stringing these agents together, if you will, the results. Businesses really thrive on consistency. I kind of put a system in place and I expect certain results along the way. And how do you get that consistency? You kind of have to back those things up. And, the major amount of applications that it takes to run a company and the integrations involved in getting data moving to get consistent results out for these agents to actually start taking action and to, take the right actions and consistently take those actions. We're seeing a bit of that focus into kind of walking things back. I'm getting certain results. They're up and down, not really prime time just yet. Some are, but the ones that are kind of walking that back to get the most value out and choosing those, I think those are the ones that really take those into their next steps, into their low-hanging fruit, and work on those, get a result, get that momentum building within their company.
So let me see if I hear you. Like, I like this idea of working backwards and thinking, if we're really looking at this from a business perspective, there's an aspect of sustainability, there's an aspect of scalability, predictability. And if we think about, checking all those boxes, and then is it about asking the question of what would it take to get there, and working that back to, the requirements, the pieces that need to be in place to build up to that point, sort of like from the ground up. Is there an aspect of this of like taking stock of what you've got today and where you are today, but in the context of where you want to go?
Yeah, I think so. As we talk to companies, you talk throughout the organization, and the individual employees, they really do understand their company, and they understand where things kind of go off the rails, um, and they understand the outcomes that they're after. And that gets clearer and clearer on those outcomes. But we definitely see walking back from those outcomes, understanding what are the systems, what are those data points, if you will, that make up to get the outcome that they're actually desiring and needing as a company. And then taking those and working from that point and then building up in a more AI friendly manner.
Let's see if we can touch on maybe a specific scenario or something that you've seen to try to drive home what this looks like, if we can. Do you have any examples of where you've um, maybe worked backwards from that target or taken an assessment of a current state to highlight those readiness gaps, and like, what does that look like? What are the dimensions that you think of? Um, let's start there, and then I've got lots of questions about that, like what that really looks like in a broader sense. But like, how do you begin to assess a current state of readiness?
Well, I think there's several areas that you need to look into. We kind of built into a system that we look at 5 different pillars of a company, and we kind of bake through those. So we start understanding how ready is a company to take on AI, and how do they rank, meaning how are they doing in those areas, and then stepping through those. That's kind of how we bake it through. But when we meet with customers, we really understand the problem that we're solving or the outcome that they're really trying to get to. And then we identify what is it in the path that they're missing today. And then we start baking that into the actual solution. Um, we worked with a company around ways of working, and they were having a major delivery problem. And so we started understanding that they wanted consistent delivery. And so we worked back from that consistent delivery to the results that we compared that to the results that they were getting. And then we started to identify what was missing or what was taking over to prevent that from getting a consistent delivery. And we were able to walk that back and then look at and identify the people, the processes, and the technology that was supporting that. And then we worked with that client to adjust to get more of a understanding of everyone understanding the outcome that we were after, and then working with everyone to put in the pieces to get that consistency.
Now, I mean, if I'm guessing everybody watching is going to want to take a step, like ideally immediately after they get off this webinar. um, what would you suggest folks do to try to make immediate progress, like to really take a step in the right direction with readiness? And maybe it's about understanding their current state. Maybe it's even just understanding what readiness means, right? What would you advise folks to do coming out of um, this meeting?
Yeah, I guess a couple things, but so we created a CXV system, the system that I was talking about around these 5 pillars areas. We created a quiz around that. It's really not a very large quiz, like 10, 15 questions. And it really goes into identifying areas of your business where you should be looking at to see how well do you rank in those areas. So I would recommend people taking that quiz, and it will quickly give you kind of a score. and then tell you how do you rank in that and where are the pain points that you should be focusing in on how ready you are. And then you can assign value to that and then start focusing on those areas. It also gives you kind of ideas of things to try in your organization.
All right. What does CXV stand for?
CXV stands for Customer Experience Velocity. So one of the things that we believe in is that everything starts with the customer. So that customer journey and understanding that. And the companies that are really moving the needle are really able to pivot on as the customer changes, as your competitors change that journey for the customer, whereas they change, that you're able to adapt to those changes. How quickly can you adapt to those changes? So CXV stands for Customer Experience Velocity. So from that standpoint.
Got it. Got it. Okay, so I think we're running short on time, but I do want to I see a really good question here that I think we should get to. A lot of businesses are saying our operation is too complex for AI. Is that a concern that you take seriously? Like, do you think that that's overblown, or is it really a blocker for organizations right now? Like complexity of the current state. Um, is this an excuse? Is this something that should give organizations pause and maybe a cause for caution? What do you think about that idea that uh, any business is too complex for AI?
Yeah, I think it might be a blocker from that standpoint. AI does well if you have your foundations there and set up. I think organizations should not take that as a problem, but they should do the foundational pieces, dissect where they think it's overly complex, and how do you break that down to simple and making things a bit more simple. But as you break down these problems or these areas that you think are too complex, that starts getting simpler and simpler because the understanding starts growing, and then the ideas start flowing in your organization on how do you apply these things, and then how do you accelerate them with AI.
So, do you think that a part of this readiness activity or evaluation is really about maybe taking a long look at those areas that you think are complex and trying to distill them down to something clearer, more well understood, maybe um, broken down into something that's more approachable or clearly defined?
Yeah, I would say, where's the value? Is it super complex and I'm not going to get much value out of it? So do I spend the time now, or do I spend it on other things that's going to get me further ahead faster? So I'd be looking at the value, but if it's producing a lot of value and it's overly complex, very complex, I would look at the people around, talking to the employees on how complex is it, and then start breaking things down. Sometimes, there's a fear of AI out there around people, culture. It's going to take my job type of thing. I think that's a hot topic for a lot of companies right now. And how do you navigate that with your employees getting accelerated, getting energy behind it, good positive energy, while breaking these things down? It comes down to value, and that's what we recommend to companies as coming into a new company, is where's the value, and then do you need to break it down? Do you not? Is it overly complex? What's going to make it less, type of thing.
Awesome. All right. Well, we are out of time, unfortunately, but we're going to pick up the conversation on May 19th. We're going to talk about a new topic of enhancing customer experience. So, really, the why of your business, more about the value, which I think is a great place to continue. And I think you'll be able to catch that at integratz.com/events. Josh, thank you for your time. Everybody tuning in, thank you for your time. We will see you next time.
Thanks, Steve.